Eric from Teshi says, Dear Gary, is that 2018 first of all? 2018. Dear Gary, I'm the biggest Manifest fan. Please, I beg you, I need a ticket to Manifestivity. Eric Teshi.
Somebody's got to win.
Yeah.
So, people have to. So, anyway.
Godlove, also from Kwashiman, send us one.
Godlove from Kwashiman.
From Kwashiman says, it was started in 2013.
Right.
2013 from Godlove.
So we'll be asking a couple more questions from now till 8:30 about Manifestivities. I mean, it's one of the sought after shows in the Christmas calendar. It's held its own. Last year was particularly, great. I see one from Ifya Yeboah.
No, yeah. I think one came in before that.
Ifya Yeboah. Okay, let's do the right thing.
I think he's deleted
it.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Oh, he's deleted the message. Let's move on to other things.
So now we can go on to Ifya
Yeboah. Says Gary, hi.
Gary, hi. A ticket for Manifestivity, please. Ifya Yeboah, you haven't answered the question. There's a question you're supposed to answer.
Well, we give a question.
There's a question you're supposed to answer. Adolf from Official Town says 2012.
Okay, Adolf from Off Town says 2012.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll give the answers pretty soon. But let's begin on this note. Today, the Ghana football season officially started because Kedo Kreku and in attendance was the Vice President of the Republic. It was a good event at the stadium. It's currently ongoing, I believe.
Yeah.
But we've recorded portions of the speech. First of all, though, because of the fact that Mikel Arteta and others have come into the picture, and also to preview this week's action, George Addo Jr. is currently at the BBC offices in Manchester, and he did a quick two-way with John Bennett. Let's hear that one. And for JoyFirstTake, we come back, we get your questions, your answers to the Manifestivities question, and then we launch into the speeches at the GFA stuff.
Thanks, John, for your time, and it's such a pleasure to be doing this from BBC Media City in Manchester. So we're approaching the halfway line in the English Premier League, and the stakes couldn't be any higher with great ties to come this weekend. Can we start though with Everton, who are on course to seal the return of Carlo Ancelotti to the Premier League? Is he the right man for this job?
First of all, George, welcome to the UK and welcome to BBC headquarters here in Salford, or BBC Sport headquarters here in Salford. Yeah, Carlo Ancelotti, obviously you can't question his track record and what he's won. Champions League titles, league titles, an amazingly full trophy cabinet he must have in his main house in Milan. But there is a big question mark because he's never really come into a job like this, has he? Where it's a team that's struggling in the bottom half of the table, that needs a complete rebuild, needs a complete rethink. Is he the man to take that on? He's never really done that wherever he's been. He's the master manager when it comes to taking on a great group of players that for some reason aren't clicking, and he just sprinkles that magic dust on and suddenly they can get taken to the next level. And Everton need a lot more than magic dust, don't they, to get them playing. They've got some good players there, but it just hasn't been clicking, and their transfer strategy has been poor as well. So how much control is he going to have over that? What sort of coaching staff will he bring in? He's been criticised as well in his last two jobs. At Bayern Munich, it started well because the players enjoyed the fact that he wasn't as intense as Pep Guardiola, but then they started missing that attention to detail that Pep Guardiola had, and it seemed that Ancelotti was a bit hands-off. At Napoli, it was the same thing as well. They had a good first season, but second season things completely fell away. So yes, he's got a great track record, but whether he suits Everton, I have my doubts, I have to say.
Well, we've got this name back in there for Arsenal, but the question is Mikel Arteta the right guy to do this job? Because a lot has been said about him, but he seems to be very inexperienced.
Yeah, nobody knows if he's the right man. You know, you could talk to anyone, even the person who knows Mikel Arteta the best. You could talk to Pep Guardiola and he could give his opinion, but nobody can say for sure that Mikel Arteta will be a really good head coach because he's got no track record to draw on. And you can either see that as an exciting thing or you can see that as a very worrying thing. I actually don't mind them taking a bit of a gamble because the last manager they appointed, Unai Emery, was a really safe pair of hands. He'd done well at Sevilla. in terms of winning the Europa League titles. He'd done okay at PSG. They'd won. You expect PSG to win domestically. He hadn't done very well in the Champions League, but he'd done okay in terms of what he was expected to do. So it was a safe pair of hands, but it didn't work out. So they didn't take a gamble in their last appointment. Now they're taking a gamble, and perhaps it might work. You can talk to people who know Mikel Arteta, and they will tell you that he's a fantastic personality, knows his football, very humble guy, very good at the way he talks to people and communicates. But being an assistant coach is very different to being the head coach. So it's a massive step up. We've seen it before, assistants stepping up, and often it hasn't worked. Sometimes it has worked. If you asked, in my opinion, I think it actually might work. They can't go any lower, can they, at the moment, Arsenal? Down in 10th place. It's been shocking, their performances this season. Something needs to change. I really hope, though, he has good people around him, because the problem Freddie Ljungberg has at the moment is that Unai Emery's backroom stuff all left. So there's no backroom team at Arsenal at the moment. So I hope they've thought a lot about what sort of coaching staff Mikel Arteta can have around him.
Right, John, let's talk about the league leaders. Liverpool, they are away in Doha for the FIFA Club World Cup, are waiting to play in the final, of course. Should be easy to see them winning. Let's see how it goes. But they have launched the transfer headlines again with the signing of Japanese Takumi Minamino. Who is this Asian talent? And what are Liverpool hoping to achieve with this particular move?
I think he fits in perfectly for Liverpool. He's very versatile. He can play number 8. He could be a winger. He can play as a striker. He can play as a number 10. Works extremely hard. He's got a great attitude apparently off the pitch, and he's played this season. He's playing under Jesse Marsch, who plays a similar style to Jurgen Klopp. Last season he played under Marco Rosa, who is at Borussia Mönchengladbach at the moment, who everyone says is the new Jurgen Klopp, massively influenced by Jurgen Klopp, so he'll have no trouble fitting into this style that Liverpool play. It's a bargain, relatively speaking, when you think about the amount of money that's spent on players these days. So it ticks all the boxes, this signing, to be a brilliant signing for Liverpool. And I think it's a breath of fresh air, isn't it, when they're going to be fighting on so many fronts next year. We're trying to win the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup. Absolutely perfect to get that new energy into the squad.
Right, John, there are some season-defining games, I should say, with respect to the title race. That's if we still have one. And of course, the developing top 4 dogfight. Leicester, Manchester City to come shortly, but let's talk about Frank Lampard's Chelsea. I saw Lampard's team at the Stamford Bridge last weekend. The inconsistency at the moment is much worrying. Now, the Blues are up against Jose Mourinho's Spurs. How costly would a loss be for either side?
So you brought Chelsea bad luck, did you, when you went to see them at Stamford Bridge?
Could you have done anything about it?
It is worrying, isn't it, Chelsea's dip? You might be able to tell me more about it, because you've seen them live more recently than me, but 4 defeats in their last 5 Premier League games, I think, now, and they were doing so well, and it's a massive test for Frank Lampard. His first big test, really, as to how to get these young players going again. I can't really put my finger on what's going wrong, because they've got Rudiger back, haven't they? I thought when Rudiger came back in, they'd actually improve. The goals may be drying up for Tammy Abraham. They're still creating a lot of chances, so you'd think that they will get out of this slump. But Tottenham, I will feel that they can really get at Chelsea this weekend. Of course, you've got Jose Mourinho playing against his old team, playing against one of his star players. Tottenham have had a massive boost today. Toby Alderweireld has signed a new contract. That's been rumbling on for years, him not signing his new contract. But Jose Mourinho comes in and suddenly signs on the dotted line. So I think that's a great sign for the future. I'm sorry to say this, but Tottenham, for me, start as big favourites in this one.
Let's talk about your Leicester City. And I think we'll be looking to bounce back to winning ways after last weekend's unexpected draw with Norwich. The trip to the Etihad is not only won about 3 points, but for most Leicester City fans, whether they can challenge or finish in second at least will hinge on this game. How do you see this panning out?
Yeah, it's a tough one for Leicester City. I think very, very difficult. Manchester City, yes, have had their dips, but I still think they're capable of some tremendous performances. Leicester will be a bit tired after an energy-sapping game against Everton in midweek. Manchester City, yes, they played as well. They played against Oxford. They were able to rotate a bit more than Leicester, despite the fact that a lot of the star players did play. They paid a lot of respect to Oxford. But I just have a feeling, maybe it's the old pessimistic Leicester City fan in me from because I used to support them when they were rubbish, remember? Now they're good. But I think that Manchester City will see this as an opportunity to, with Liverpool away at the Club World Cup, to gain a bit of ground, not only on Leicester but also on Liverpool. And if Manchester City don't come away from this game with anything less than a win, then I I think that they will be very, very disappointed. That this is a huge game in their season, and we said that Pep Guardiola has been looking a bit down in his demeanour, looking a bit tired. He'll be desperate to win this one.
Right. I think for now, most Manchester United fans want to feel the team is getting better. Well, they have a tricky date with Watford in London. How do you expect that to go?
Nigel Pearson's first home game as Watford manager. I think Watford will be really up for it. We saw it against Liverpool. They've created chances, Watford. I think they will create chances against Manchester United. It's just whether they can take them. Defensively, Watford aren't that bad. So this is tough for Manchester United. As I say, it's all about whether Watford can take their chances. We saw the likes of Ismaila Sarr miss chances. Deeney is getting back to full fitness, which is huge for Watford. Manchester United, they're on an upward trajectory. Rumours today that Erling Haaland is in Manchester to sign. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has denied that, saying he's not in Manchester. I don't know anything about him being in Manchester. That would be a great signing. There's still the worry of Paul Pogba. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says he's not being sold in January. So there are issues, but on the pitch it is getting better for Manchester United. But it's all about whether Watford can take their chances. I think Manchester United will score. It's just whether Watford can find the back of the net.
Right, thank you very much, John, for your time. And I should say good luck to Leicester City as much as to Chelsea.
Thank you very much. Good luck to struggling Chelsea. And nice to see you in BBC Sport headquarters. Come and see us again soon.
George Addo Jr. with John Bennett there on the BBC News 2A, ushering us into other things here on the Joy First Take. I'm Gary Al Smith, and 23 minutes to the top of the hour here in our studios in Kokomlemle. We're asking you for a chance to get a ticket to Money Festivities. Please answer this question. In which year did the first edition of Money Festivities happen? We'll be letting you know pretty shortly, but Hans Mensando is here with us. Hans, you are with me at the stadium with Benedict as well.
Absolutely.
Your first impressions of the GFA season launch? They are launching the football season. So that means Division 1, Ghana Premier League, Division 1, Ghana Premier League, and the Women's, the Women's League, and then of course the F.
Listening to you, I kept asking myself, these are things that we've heard in one way or the other before, you know.
Really?
Not specifically those things, but I'm saying that we've heard things previously that haven't seen the light of day. So, of course, I'm thinking that it's not really about what you say. It's about how you implement it. For instance, he's talking about betting companies not using fixtures of the Ghana Premier League without permission from the Ghana Football Association. It's good. It's perfect. He's talking about major stakeholders or players, club officials, coaches, referees and stuff not being involved in betting, which is all good, because at the moment we know that even players, football players actually bet on their games in this country. It is something that is happening and it shouldn't be happening. And so it's not merely about saying that you're going to do A, B and C. For me, I like to wait for the action. The talk is all good, but I want to see you back it up. As a first step, yes, we have to commend him for even identifying the problem in the first place. And then for us as the media, we'll sit back and pay close attention to how they are going to address, these problems. So thumbs up to Keto Kweku and his administration for being able to identify some of these problems. I've always advocated that, for instance, look, when it comes to selection of coaches for the Black Stars, for instance, we say that we need, coaches with a certain level of certification. A lot of our coaches locally don't have those certifications, even though potentially, they are top class coaches. We see them all the time. So I've always wondered, why don't we develop a scheme where the coach who wins the league at the end of the season is sent, or is sponsored to take up some of these courses? And I think that it's positive that we are hearing some of these things. It allows some of our local coaches, those with real potential, to build their capacity in contrary to the period where with all the potential, they simply didn't have the financial muscle to go out there to pursue some of these courses. So
okay.
It's good. First, for the first things that we are hearing, it's really good.
The key points from Mr. Keto Kweku's speech today, the launching of the Ghana football season. First of all, he said that the top 6 coaches at the end of the season for the Premier League will be taken to or sponsored will be sponsored to Europe for attachment, or something like that, for courses to develop themselves. So that's for the Premier League. The top 6 coaches at the end of the season will be sponsored. For Division 1, the winning coach of each zone will be taken to or sponsored to a European club for courses as well. And then for the Women's League, the top 3 coaches will have a similar reward. So this is for the Premier League, the Women's League, and then Division 1. Also, the top 6 teams will get monetary rewards, financial rewards, like Hans said, at the season's end. And this is for all domestic competitions, right? So the top 6 teams, so Division 1, Premier League, Women's League. And then, like Hans said again, betting companies will be barred from using the fixtures of the Ghana Premier League without authorization from the Ghana Football Association. So those are some of the things that were said by Keto Kweku. And he's speaking at the event, but he's spoken already. We'll take just a bit of some of the key points he made in his speech. We believe that, it's a seminal moment and we need to give it all the positive traction it deserves. So here's Keto Kweku. We'll play a couple of minutes and then we come back and continue the show. Stay with us.
Will produce exciting and truly professionally run competitions. Your Excellency, members of the football industry, ladies and gentlemen, in our quest to drive the change, we have also approved competition-specific regulations for all our products, namely the Premier League, the Division 1 League, the Women's Premier League, and we're going to the extent of also providing regulations for all RFA organized competitions across the country. Your Excellency, in these new regulations, there are a number of innovations and new provisions. For example, you will notice that protest processes have been shortened from 3 days to 1 day, and this will clearly make the process for the advocacy bodies to be able to effectively run their setups. We also have new provisions on betting. All participants in our football, RA players, GFA staff members, club executives, coaches, administrators, referees are strictly prohibited from taking part in betting. Again, No betting company in Ghana can use our fixtures or match results for betting without authorization or license from our dear Football Association. There are also new provisions on post-match interviews and most importantly on members of the association, referees, coaches and players making false allegations and dishonest remarks without proof that discourages any person bringing the competition into dispute. On officiating, Your Excellency, various steps have been taken and will be taken to ensure that we have our referees giving us the best of quality. We are working closely with the Referees Association of Ghana and we are instructors to ensure that we have a full ranking of referees for the 3 top tiers of our league beginning next week. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we have also introduced even more innovations and more on their way in the coming season. Your Excellency, I would therefore like to take this opportunity to invite corporate Ghana to join hands with us in the forward march of our beloved sport called football. We have the firm belief that integrity is key to the development of our game. Recently, we held a 4-day referees integrity workshop for over 311 male and female referees in the country in Kasua to ensure professionalism at all levels. In the last few days, Your Excellency, the Ghana Football Association offered some financial support to clubs as they prepare for the new season. We are aware that this will not entirely meet the financial demands of club operations, but we are the firm belief that it is a necessary evil for our clubs to be able to be well prepared or better prepared for the new season. For the first time in the history of Ghana, regardless of the fact that we don't have official sponsors, the Executive Council has decided that at the end of the season, for the Premier League competition, the top 6 clubs will receive monetary awards for their placements on the league competition. This is amazing. Your Excellency, we are not stopping with the Premier League. We have 3 zones representing the National Division 1 League. For the first time, the top 3 tiers or the top 3 clubs will also receive financial rewards at the end of the season. Where is Madam Mata? She's here. For the first time, for the very, very first time, we have 2 zones. 2 women Premier League zones, the Northern and the Southern. For the first time, the top 3 clubs at the end of the season will also receive monetary rewards from the Football Association. Now let's listen to this. If we want to ignite passion, if we want to create wealth, it means we have to invest in coaching. If we have poor coaches, we will end up producing poor quality players. As an incentive package, the council has decided that for the first time, the coaches of the top 6 clubs will all be sponsored on attachment with the European clubs at the end of the season. I'm sure that you think that this is enough. No. Women clubs, for the first time, the top 3 coaches of the top 3 teams belonging to the 2 sectors will also be sent to Europe on attachment. I am sure that our Division clubs are wondering, hey, what's going to happen? Okay, Division 1, you're also included in the package. For the first time, the top 3 coaches from each of the 3 zones will also be sent on attachment to you. This is what we mean by creating wealth for all. By these policies, Your Excellency, we will, as part of our strategy, succeed in igniting passion and creating wealth. Also, also, we would have succeeded in bringing the love back to the millions of the Ghanaians who love our sport. Your Excellency, government's role, I'm coming to you now, in reaching our objectives is, as an association, can never be underestimated. And I've said this on numerous and on varied platforms. I have said that it's so important for football and government to have a certain relationship. People don't seem to understand this, but government must always be seen as a key strategic partner in the development of our sports. This is key. Your Excellency, your presence here today affirms the belief I've always held. I'm so grateful. Once we allow the government for various roles and support we have so far received, it's also true that our clubs need a lot of financial support. The football economy is so small, liquidity is also a big problem we have in this country. Unfortunately, Your Excellency, when we go around and we look for our media money, we take games, we promote these games, at the end of each game, there's a VAT component, 17%. Your Excellency, we need a promise that today, with your support and strategy, government will waive off this 17% off VAT for our clubs. Your Excellency, on behalf of my hard-working Executive Council, I'm so proud of you. On behalf of all our clubs, on behalf of our media partners, and most importantly, on behalf of our female clubs, we wish to express our heartfelt gratitude for the time you have taken off from this schedule to be with us today. It only means that you love footy, you love football. And for us who are in the business of football, we shall forever remember this, because this is the very first time the Vice President of our country has been to the official launch of the football calendar. And there was movie. To bring back the love, to ignite passion, we take not only the effort of Ura and it will also not take only the effort of the Executive Council. Neither will we take the effort of the Executive Minister. If we will be successful, it will take the express and active participation and support of everybody here gathered in the room. This is the call I'm throwing out to everybody. It's not so good at this time for you to sit back and look for faults. Faults you will continue to find. Well, we are human. But so long as we believe that if we stick together, if we believe in the way, if we follow our principles, if we stay as a unit, we'll definitely hit the target of envy. We shall cross with our Jordan. And this with our Jordan, we shall cross. Your Excellency, 99.7. Once again, I want to thank you so much that together we will make efforts from governments, from the past, mobilization committee, from FIFA and CAF. Today, football is being given a new life. I'm very positive that in going forward, our sport will never be the same. God bless us.
Kero Kreku speaking, the GFA president. Good stuff, he said. Hans, I mean, we've given an idea of the things he said even before we played that audio cue. But we had a question from somebody asking what the sponsorship situation of the new Ghana Premier League season will be.
Yeah. At the moment, there is no sponsors for the Ghana Premier League.
Okay.
Not that we know of, at least. Not that has been reviewed by the FA. And I heard the president of the FA, Kero Kreku,
he hinted that there is a sponsor.
Oh, okay.
You heard him?
Yes, I think
he said
that, but
even though we have a sponsor of the league, so that was something he dropped.
I also, heard him calling on corporate Ghana to come on board and join hands with the FA, which, I think it's good, but I think it's become a cliche. For as long as I can remember, Ghana football has been calling on corporate Ghana.
Everybody calls on corporate Ghana.
Yes. But I think the approach has to change now, you know.
But that's what they are doing. They are changing their approach.
Oh.
But I mean, since Ked came, the approach has changed. Unless you don't want to give them credit for it. Is there anything
I can't give them credit for calling on corporate Ghana.
No.
And that's the point.
No, you're asking for approach.
Yes.
And they've come to power. They've been in power for 45, 6, 7 days.
I am saying let's move from calling on corporate Ghana to showing corporate Ghana that the brand Ghana football is worth associating with.
Okay, let me give you an example. Have you ever seen a launch of the Ghana football season since you were born like this? Launch of the Ghana football season like this?
No.
Good. You know what they did? They wrote to the heads of targeted institutions that they want to associate with to come there.
Okay.
I'm talking MD, CEOs, blah 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 blah.
Right.
For them to come around and then for them to see that this is what we have.
Okay.
So today was like a dinner. Come to dinner. Let me tell you what I've got. Go and think about it. I'll give you my proposals and then let's start working together.
Okay. So I'm saying
that's the first step.
Show corporate Ghana that brand Ghana football is worth associating. How do you do that? Show them the transparency. Show them the accountability.
Yeah.
Show them, you know, the integrity. Show them all of that. And
I mean, good governance practice.
Absolutely. Take it a step further. Develop products around the brand Ghana football and brand Ghana Premier League. All Ghana is a Ghana football seminar, a Ghana football conference. Invite corporate Ghana. Tell them, come and see the products that we have around Ghana football. Sell those products to them. Let them buy it. You know, I think that we need a more aggressive approach to these things because if we are not careful, and that's I don't want us to be too excited about, you know, the initial moves that are being made.
I think people are just cautiously
optimistic. But I think that the FA can whip up a bit more confidence if they can get a bit more aggressive and change the approach. For me, yes, I mean they've launched the Ghana Premier League or the Ghana football season, which is good. But I also think that it's probably necessitated by what we've had to experience over the last 2 years. Yeah. Okay, such that if you are relaunching it, you have to make a bit of noise about it. But let's see a more concerted effort in the way, you know, we approach it.
So for
our
example,
relationship
I'm pushing you to the wall. What would you have wanted to
absolutely see? So going forward, and that's what I'm saying, develop products around the brand Ghana football. Okay, organize a Ghana football seminar, get all stakeholders involved, bring corporate Ghana on board, show them the products you've developed, sell those products to them, and let's take it forward.
Right. But if I'm a CEO of a company, head of marketing or whatever it is that has to associate myself, I mean, showing me the products, knowing our history, Ghana football, it's not going to convince me.
I started that.
Yeah.
Show them the good corporate governance practices first.
So for example, and I go to the fact that they've been in power for like 47 days, 48, 49 days. First, they started integrity seminars with the referees, with the coaches and stuff, to send that message out there that these were the most problematic areas. Before we even come and show you our product, we want to tell you that, you know, our major stakeholders, the coaches, the players, the officials, and all those people, we are educating them or reorienting them. We are helping them to unlearn, to learn new things, and then now we are launching the thing again. So now come. You know, and that's I mean, I think that this is cause to be not excited but cautiously optimistic, and you could tell from the vibe around the place that for the vice president to even come. And again, you know, we played a cue this morning where who was it who said that because the vice president is coming, it sends a signal that the government is.
That was the Director General of the Sports Authority, Peter Chumesi.
Look, 3 years ago, if you called the vice president, you and I know he wouldn't have come. Because of the image attached to the Ghana Football Association, you know, whoever the vice president was, they would have thought twice, 3, 4 times before attending an event like this. You know, Benedict.
Yeah, Guy. I think, you know, football in this country is huge. It's big, and I mean, if you're a political party and you're in, we do very well with football. You can as well go to sleep and not campaign as much as you would if, you know, things do not go well in that sector, because that's the passion of the nation. when there is football, when the Black Stars are playing and they are doing very well, we all forget about our problems, and everything is towards the Black Stars. You understand? So now we are coming back in a new era. From normalization, a new administration, that you've seen the signs, and Honorable Esiama made a point about how creative Kurt is, and if you are looking at going with someone with that level of creativity,
that talent,
and you attach yourself to that person and he's able to deliver, because the signs are there. I mean, he has started things that we were not used to. Yes, there were seminars and all that before league matches, league seasons will begin. But this time, you could see there's a different vibe about everything that they are doing. I remember when the Bring Back the Laugh thing came on this same show, where dissecting and looking at the issues as to, was it just about the Black Stars or was it just about the national teams? Now we've come to understand that the Bring Back the Laugh is not just about our national teams, but it's about bringing the passion, the football that we all witnessed in the late 90s and the early 2000s, where people
know what Kurt said today?
No,
he said, my administration, we have brought back the love.
No,
millions. I said, Kurt, slow down.
You should slow down. The love there is coming. It is not entirely.
We have brought. I said, Kurt, slow down.
The love is coming, because the fact that now you get people sharing their artworks and their short videos on social media tells you that yes, people are much interested. And you get people that ordinarily on any normal day they wouldn't be asking you about the Ghana Premier League, now asking, Charlie, when is the league starting? We hear you guys are talking about it. We can't get into exactly. We can't get into the stadiums, and people are actually asking about fixtures. When the FA announced that they were going to give the clubs the money, that Premier League clubs were going to get 50,000, 25 for the division, and the other the women's elite, the interest and the questions that people were asking were, where are they getting the money from? So you could see that there's a genuine interest. You understand? People want to know what's going on with this new administration. I think that they've started very well. The negative they don't need any negativity. It should be about positivity. I mean, it's a human institution, and a lot of things, of course, we will sit back and we see as wrong with this administration. Where they are and where they are going, you could see that they really want to take us somewhere, and if they want to take us to that point, we all have to support them, and let's see where they can go with us.
All right, so today's edition of the JoyFirstTake, we are doing it in partnership with Manifestivities. It's happening on Sunday, and we've got our two winners for the first question we asked about when Manifestivities first started. Ni Odote says 2011, and that is correct. Your number ends in 266. 266. Manifestivity started in 2011, and James Afedi, you also sent in your correct answer via Facebook, so 266. Second question that we've got is, what is the name of the first song that Manifest collaborated with Burna Boy on? What is the name of the first song that Manifest collaborated with Burna Boy?
Should I say it?
You say
Abeku was a
family and friends are not allowed. Family and friends are not allowed, including staff of Joy FM. So if you know it, hit me up on 024-4340-437. Bill, can you please do me the honors? The console is buzzing. This is I get a feeling this is an easier question than the first one.
Someone sent a message.
I said the first song that the two artists collaborated on. The first song. Please listen to the question well. Bill? Okay, so I'll get the first song, guys. The first song. It's important for people to remember that. That's what
the messages are really. I would have to hold it a bit for all the messages to come through before.
No problem. But we just want the first two. Absolutely. Yeah, we want the first two. So that's it. Anyway,
we are giving away 10 tickets.
Yeah, we are.
Okay,
yeah. So the thing is, what we are going to do right now is we are going to start reviewing the year 2019, because this is potentially our last show before people tune off radio for the year. So we put a few things down in what has been an interesting year. Right down from the January when we had a transfer show, the Ghanaian boys who moved, Jordan and his brother Andre all made moves, right down to last week when we potentially had the biggest sporting story for Ghana.
See, me that discussion, I want to recuse myself.
No problem.
You know why? A message just came through. Yeah, I'm too much of a pessimist.
Yeah, Michael.
And I'm sure that
Michael from University of Birmingham says Lance is too much of a pessimist.
By the time I'm done with my submission on Ghana Sport 2019, I'll probably affirm that particular position of mine.
Yeah, but
that's just by the way.
I always tell people that journalists, by our training, we are encouraged to be cynical.
I just don't get impressed too easily.
No.
And I demand the business. The submission was merely demanding that. Yes, I mean, I acknowledged last week. I've been impressed with, the early moves that they've made. I just think that, a lot more has to be done for some of us to be, fully convinced. But I mean, initial moves, quite okay for the initial.
Anyway, let's try and get some of the answers to the question. What is the first song Burna Boy and Manifest first collaborated on? We'd like to hear your view. 0244340437. This one says what? Another story,
yes.
From what?
Nimensa
Tete. He answered the first question but didn't get it correct. We'll find out if he got this one correct.
Yeah, the next person also said another story.
And what's the name?
Darlington from North Kanishi.
Okay.
And the next person says Tomorrow. Delali. That's his name, Delali. Tomorrow.
Okay, so quickly though, let's get that out of the way. Give me a couple more answers.
Another story from Michael Newman
in Pokwase.
Yes, and
another story he says.
Another story too from
Ernest from Kumasi.
Yes, he's saying this one they have won. I'm coming giddy.
I see. Okay, so let's get our first 4 winners. All of you are correct. Nimensa, Darlington, Michael and Ernest from Kumasi. So let's take their numbers, please, and then let's contact them. Neo Dote, you won the first one. James Afedi, you also won. Answered the question correctly. 2011 is when Manifestivities first came, and we've got 6, so another 4 will be in the offing. I'll try and get the others from the Facebook page so that we get it from WhatsApp, Twitter, and so on and so forth. That's great. All right, guys. So 2011, Hans, what has been your
2019?
Oh, share.
You want to take us back in time, right?
No. 2011 was a good year. 2011 in the what happened in 2011 Ghana football wise? Benedict, we had 3 players in the CAF 11. CAF tweeted it this year.
Exactly, because of wonderful performance
in the World Cup,
also in the AFCON in Angola. When we presented.
And then you around that time was the BBC African footballer.
African footballer of the year, and was even running for the African Player of the year. It happened here in Ghana. For
3 straight years, he was first to third.
I remember that awards night. I covered it, and Yaturi, Keita from Mali, and Andre was so optimistic. Seydou Keita. Andre was so optimistic he was going to win. He was accompanied by his brother Jordan and his dad, that's Abidi Ayew Pele. They came, and at the end it was Yaturi that won that award, and I could see tears in the eyes of Andre on that night, because he thought that he did very well, and for us, Andre that year did very well, and I thought that he really deserved it, and he should have won the African Player of the Year in 2011.
Hans, yes.
So 2019, it has to go down as one of the worst years for Ghana sports. I don't think that I have to say it any other way. It's been a horrible year for Ghana sports. Look, we can track it right down from we did the Africa Games, terrible. We did the Africa Cup of Nations, horrible. Of course, if you look at the other individual sports as well, I mean, and then to round it all up, we lose the only world title that we have. So yes, of course, there are snippets of positives that you can pick, but I mean, overall, on a scale of 1 to 10 for me, it has to go down as a 4. And that's how bad it's been for us this year, and it's worrying, especially going into the year 2020, the Olympic Games, and then also for the Black Stars as well, going into the World Cup qualifiers for 2022 as well. I'm a bit worried. If you also look at the Black Meteors' failure to qualify for the Olympic Games as well, that also adds another dimension. In fact, the last 6 months of the year sums up what Ghana sports has been all about. And I think that it's been a horrible year for Ghana sports. The handlers, the ministry, the various sporting federations, I think that need to converge somehow and do an introspection of a sort. Really sit down and reflect on the year take stock of what we did wrong, what we can do right, or what we can do better, and try to better our lot next year. We cannot have a repeat of what Ghana sports has been in 2019. We simply cannot. Look, by the time we qualify, by the time the next Olympic Games, not 2020, 2024, correct?
Yeah.
Comes about. It will be what? It will be about over 2 decades since we last played in the men's football competition. You know, by the time the next Africa Cup of Nations comes around, it will be what, 40 years?
Yeah, or something like that.
Or something like that. It will be 40 years, 41 years. Okay, this year also 37, or the next one is 37.
Yeah.
Okay. It simply can. At some point, we have to arrest the situation. For how long will Ghanaians continue to yearn for that 5th Africa Cup of Nations title? It's becoming a funny story. For how long? 50 years? You know, for some of us, we haven't seen Ghana lift an Africa Cup of Nations. And look, an international title at the senior level in our time.
All right, we have to be,
for a lot of us,
because of time.
So, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm sure that listeners will probably also have their own grading. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give the 4 for Ghana sports in 2019. 4
for Ghana sports. Anyway, about the manifest question, we've got our winners. So you can stop texting to our WhatsApp line. I'm going to announce those we got over our Facebook right now. Which one? This one.
I've won. I'm coming giddy.
Yeah, I think he won.
Oh really?
I think he won. Yeah, so he won that one. So the other winners from Facebook, Cynthia Botti said another story, Ebenezer Tay said another story, Nick Pakwadu said another story, and Rastina. Sorry if I got it. Rastina Asari said another story. So that's it for our 10. Take it. Moving on, Benedict, what's your assessment of 2019? What have been the key stories? I'll go through the list that we have, but first of all, your initial thoughts.
Well, I think we started the year very well, and the positive and the way we started the year, I thought that we were going to go through the year and end it on that note, but it didn't turn out the way I thought. Because I mean, look at Isaac Dugbe coming through in a year, trying to win back that title. He lost, and then how he was stripped. No,
he was what?
Stripped. With the Neho tag and all that. From Isaac Dugbe, we qualify for the AFCON, and qualification is not a standard, but of course, if you want to win the tournament, you have to qualify and go there. So that was also another positive for us. We went to the African Games with some of our athletes doing very well, and the guys, the 4x100 relay team, of course, our hope and everything was on the ladies, but things didn't turn out quite well. The guys managed to win as a medal, went to the World Athletics Championship. Things did not go well at the Africa Cup of Nations. Go and win, turn out to go finish 16th with expenditure and all that came across. And also the last one, which of course round 2, and the boxer ball say Charlie, some guys say force go disgrace Ghana, so you go ship the guy, you understand? So I think that's how I want to cap it. I mean, from that aspect, forgetting about normalization, yes, they came, they did their own work, normalize our football. Now football is in permanent hands, at least for the next 4 years, and we've all seen what Kurt and the guys are trying to put together, the amazing things they are doing currently. I mean, that's is a positive. But on a whole, if you are looking at Ghana sports from January up to now as we sit here, I think that we could have done a lot more better than what we did. For me, Hans said 4/10. I think I'll give us 2/10. Yes.
No,
because we didn't win anything. We lost our world titles. The only thing, the reason I'm giving us 2/10, one is the guys said the 4x100 relay team winning the gold at the African Championship. That's the African Games. So that is one. No, that is one. I'm giving that as one. And also Ketukweko and the guys, normalization, push normalization, Ket and the guys coming through with everything that they are doing. That football is coming back. The year before, the next year. That's the number 2. So 2/10 for Ghana sports.
Interesting. What's been your highlight of the year? I mean, highlights used loosely to mean that what stands out for you. That's what I mean by highlight. So it can be, an ignominy or something really, really great. Let's know what it is for you.
Just waiting for a long decision, and we are ready now. So just a moment, we'll go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
rounds of action. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Alan Ney scores about 115 to 113.
Oh,
Judges Anthony Keolillo and Don Ackerman both scored about 116 to 112. All three in favor of the winner.
And new.
And the new WBO Junior Champion of the World, Emmanuel Vaquero Navarrete.
So this was when Dogbo was, in the words of Benedict, shipped.
Yeah, he was shipped.
He was shipped. Yeah, that's something that we remember. Something that we also remember is this one.
Positive. So, positive spirit enter omochi. Omu ye bibi dia, ibiti akase bi a hachi ase ni sei. Who said the AC elections no bibia.
All right, Dr. Kofi Amwa, we wanted to hear from Dr. Kofi Amwa on what he is doing, but on the GFA elections and all that, but the sound is a bit low. This is something we also remember. Anybody remember this sound bite?
Right now, we would like to take the opportunity to beg the ministry to please release these resources for us. It would have been great if we could have done the 2 weeks camping before here. I think we would have improved. We didn't, and that's okay. It's time to move on, but it'd be great if they could at least give us our per diem. We didn't get per diem in Yokohama. We didn't say anything because we just knew that we wanted to go there and qualify for here, which we did. We just hope that this won't be the same thing.
So this is when Benedict,
was the World Athletics
after the
Championship.
great performance of our athletics team, they were not given their pay.
Exactly.
And
that was Flink. So we say Japan.
Familiar story.
So today is what of December? Have they been paid the money?
Well, the last time we spoke to the ministry, our team mentioned that Charlie.
Oh, Benedict, talk that thing.
No easy.
Have they been paid?
Benedict, if you don't go talk, tell me.
Charlie. Let's call our tea.
No. This is not the show for it.
Yeah, because I remember we spoke about this issue on Sports Track.
Yeah,
and then he called me and mentioned that, oh, Charlie, we've settled the girls, so we've done everything. And then the girls, they meet George in Doha.
Yeah.
And then after that, amazing performance, of course, many would think that, or we say, oh, they didn't win anything. But at least they recorded some seasonal best and all that there. And in athletics, when we record seasonal best, first, we used not to think that way. We all thought that, oh, Charlie, you just have to finish first or second or third, win gold, silver or bronze. And the girls came out with this interview that they've not been paid. You understand? So, Abate, we want to find out. But, Charlie, we can't end the year not paying these girls. We have to pay them.
But the year is done.
The year is not done. Next week is there. Next week, God willing, by Friday, we are still in 2019. So whatever areas, whatever outstanding there is to settle, please, let's settle all these things and not take it to next year.
Hans?
The Black Meteors just came to mind because I know that they also have certain outstanding bonuses.
The Black Stars as well.
And the Black Stars as well.
Which the minister mentioned during the Meet the Press. That was, I think, 3 weeks ago.
It's a bit difficult talking about these things and really criticizing the ministry because, of course, we are not oblivious to the fact that, yes, resources are scarce and, the ministry has to work within a certain budget and all of that. But I think that there is a saying: when you plan to fail, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Before the start of every year, the various federations present their budgets.
Exactly.
You understand? So the ministry has an idea how much it's going to cost the country to participate. In this competition, or in that competition, in this qualifiers or that qualifiers or whatever. So it really becomes difficult justifying why people who have served their nation haven't been paid what is due them. And I think that this story is it's become, I mean, these days when you even run it as news, it's almost as if it's not news anymore. Tell us something different. And I don't think that bodes well. We sit here and we criticize our sportsmen and women for not performing on the world stage. But you see, some of these things also affect performances. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, sure.
It affects performances. If you have these girls who go to the All Africa Games and do very well, and they go to the World Championship, and even before they go, they have not been paid for the achievement at the Africa Games. How then do you criticize them for failing at the World Championship when they have not even been paid? So let's not approach 2020 with some of these things. Clear the debt from 2019. let's go to 2020 and incur different debts, and then we'll look at what we'll do in 2021. But like Benedict said, let's clear those debts. It's disgraceful.
Now, another thing that trended in 2019 was this.
Stick to the plan today, and we play a little strange football today. Sorry to say. We show that we don't have too much experience in this level, and they show that they have more experience and use it. And a long list was not good enough today. A long list, but the boys need to learn and bring it into the Confederation Cup.
His name is Kjetil Zakariasen. He said after he was appointed that Kotoko was one of the best teams in Africa, and then when he suddenly realized whatever it was, he said Kotoko's level is not the CAF Champions League, it is the CAF Confederations Cup. And
he left something out. You know, when he was appointed, he mentioned that with the quality and the players they have, he will be surprised
if they don't.
Should they even lose a game?
The other thing about Zakariasen was about this man also.
I want to again further my education in terms of attachment and all that. But you know, in Europe the league just started. Some have not started. You know, I'm looking forward to go to England again, of course Germany, and maybe Spain or Italy. And I've got one. And so I'm preparing towards the two, and then I have to look for how to finance it. It's been a problem, but I've managed always to do that, do that on my own, but I will go. You see, it's again how you think, what you want to do. I've always said, and I've never hidden from that I want to do this to the highest level, and so it means that I have to educate myself. I don't have to wait for anybody, to do that. And
CK Akono, this is after he was sacked, right?
Exactly. It was after he was sacked. We did this interview at the Alisa Hotel, and the most bizarre decision any club in the world took last season. In the world, not Ghana. In the world,
there have been bizarre ones. Trust
like
me.
Which one?
Oh, I mean,
like the appointment of Diego Maradona as Argentina coach.
I'm talking about sacking of coaches.
Oh, let's limit
it. No, let's limit it to sacking of coaches.
Okay. Sacking Pochettino.
The results were not coming.
Oh,
they were not winning.
It's not as ludicrous. I mean, as if you compare it to CK Akono.
But CK was getting results.
Yeah, he was.
He was getting results. I'm just looking at the results.
Okay.
Pochettino wasn't winning, so that you say fair enough. But CK was getting a result. He had actually just won the tier 1.
Yeah.
The normalization tier 1, the special competition. He had won it, and that was the reason why they were even going to participate in Africa. And then we were even at AFCON. And they sacked him just like that.
Kotoko like the show, boys.
It's just like Liverpool currently. They say, oh, club after winning the Club World Cup, say, oh, Mapamono. Can you imagine? Yeah, that's how.
I'm just imagining that move from Liverpool's, top hierarchy.
Of course, but that's what
I'm
happened.
sure the fans will troop to Anfield and burn it down.
You don't know that's what happened here in Ghana.
Well, of course.
That's what happened.
But listening to CK Akono, I couldn't help but be impressed. Okay.
He said he wants to do it to the highest level.
Absolutely. First of all, I'm coming.
Before you come in,
he set a target.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm coming.
Yeah.
When you talk about CK, there are some things that we have to know. CK is, aside him being learned, he's played professional modern football, and he understands the game. And this is somebody, he mentioned that he wants to get this to the highest level. Yeah. This is somebody who realized, getting to, I had a very extensive private chat with him, and he told me that, getting to the latter stages of his career, he realized that, Charlie, business, yes, I can do business, but I still want to be in a game. And if I want to be in a game, I cannot play. I cannot sell players. Yeah. So it's coaching that I'll do. So CK started learning about this when it was about ending his football career in Germany. And then he came down, took on teams. Even when we were criticizing him, he wasn't doing well, things were not going well, he kept pushing, and he said he was never going to give up. And one thing that he did last year which blew me off, Gary, oftentimes most of our coaches sit in this country and they're always blaming government, always blaming FA for not taking them out, to understudy top coaches. CK Akono saved his own money because he wants to do this to the highest level. You understand? Saved his own money. Of course, if government sponsor, if GFA comes to sponsor, fine. But the man realized that, Charlie, I want to do this to the highest level, as he mentioned. So he spent his own money, went to Tottenham Hotspur. When Pochettino was there, went to Celtic, when Brendan Rodgers was there, went to Germany to understudy all these coaches.
And that's the point I was making. Okay, first of all, he sets himself a target. He says, I want to do this to the highest level.
And starts meeting them.
And then after doing that, he establishes how he's going to be able to reach that target. It is by educating myself. It is by going out there on industrial attachment. Okay. And then once he's done, he acknowledges the challenge that he's going to have to encounter. How do I fund it? And he establishes his resolve to fund it by himself. And that is what impresses me. Look, speak to a lot of the local coaches. It's a rhetoric that Benedict was alluding to. For a lot of them, they fold their arms. But I don't have the money and government is not helping me. And he will be here and be stuck in the old ways. Jobs will come and pass him by. I think that if I have to pick my sports person of the year, it has to be CK Akono.
Interesting. It will be interesting. Bocho and Kegbe will be also there. You know, these are, and Bocho also never relies on government. I mean, he funds himself. He's a Paralympic athlete.
You remember Ale Mumuni as well.
Ale Mumuni, all these guys they go out there and do their
But I think CK, with everything that he did last season, going out.
Who will be our sportsman of the year?
I don't know. Let's do that in a couple of minutes because probably the most emotive story had to be this one or part of it.
That officially the budget for AFCON 2019 is not ready yet. All what we're hearing are rumors and media speculations as usual. But I'm sure the budget will be out a few days before the team depart for their camping base, either in Abu Dhabi or Turkey.
So there is a possibility, there's a very high possibility from your earlier explanation that this will be more expensive or higher than the eventual price.
Yes, because you and I know that the Black Stars take a minimum of $5,000 as winning bonus per player. So
shot fired in, and what a shot as well! He let rip, and Jordan Ayew off his right foot provides a lifeline for Swansea City. That was unstoppable. 1-1.
Yeah, so Jordan Ayew getting a transfer, Dan Kwekwe-Eboah, all were big stories, but Dan Kwekwe-Eboah was probably one of the most talked about.
Hard guy.
You know, the normalization committee, the AFCON budget. You know, he said in the sound clip there with Nathaniel Ato that they were going to Abu Dhabi or Turkey. You know, they ended up in Dubai. Yeah, it's a difficult time for him.
The only guy who does his job, takes his money, and then resigns with one more month to end his mandate.
Anyway, Michael Che,
sharp guy
of University of Bremen, sends us a message. He says, "Don't forget, Bukum Banku won his first fight outside Ghana. Overall, I'll give a score for Ghana sports for 2/10. He says this year has been the lowest point on the sports calendar. It's important we go back to the basics to fix the fundamental problem of providing the funds and infrastructure that is required to support training and development of sports in Ghana," he says. So he also, this one says, "Hello Gary, Ben and Hans. Merry Christmas to you, including our British man George. Your programs have been insightful and entertaining. I'll continue to pray for you all for God's continued guidance and guardianship. More exciting programs in the coming years. By the way, where is Ibrahim Asante? It's been a long while that I heard his voice on radio. Thanks and continue to stay blessed in the Lord. Cheers, Auntie Della. Redwan.
Della, Merry Christmas to you."
Yeah, he's resting a bit. He's sort of on leave, you know, if I'm getting it right. He's on leave. Yeah. From Robert Ayi in Kaswa says, "Good evening, Gary. Why are you reviewing the year today? Does that mean that no show next week?" You know, we from experience, we know that the people who will listen to us next week are not as many as those who will listen to us before the 25th ish. You know, unless a tsunami or a sporting event of tsunami proportions.
I remember it's just like 4 years ago Christmas on the 26th.
Yeah,
I was working in the morning. I made a phone call to a man. I don't want to mention his name. He's a very good friend, and I made a call to him. I'm like, "Oh, my boss, good morning, or how are you?" So, "Oh, Benedict, Merry Christmas." I said, "Merry Christmas to you too." He said, "So what was going on?" So, I just wanted to pick your thought. I said, "Hey, wait. But you too, 26. You want to pick my thought or what?" I mean, my family's out there. My friend, go and chill with your family.
From experience, we know that. I mean, the week before the Christmas is usually
when didn't even let me
the yearly review. So just to wrap up, The stories we chose are the stories of the year. The transfers in January: Jordan Andre Ayew making moves, Isaac Dogbe defeat to Navarrete, part 1 and 2, normalization committee organizing a special competition, Asante Kotoko winning the normalization committee tier 1 cup, CK Akono getting sacked, the Black Stars AFCON story from the time they qualified until the time they went to Dubai. They said it's the best camp ever. The ignominious exit from the competition, the expenditure issues, how much they spent, the media campaign to know how much was spent, the media campaign that did not get anything because we never got told. Normalization committee's work ended. We had new GFA leaders elected, the dramatic election, the disqualification of Osei Palmer, Richard. There were no much.
I don't fear delegates.
I don't fear delegates. We are probably going to hear.
Of course, you should be confident.
Yeah, of course you should be confident. Of course you should be confident. George Free, we salute you wherever you are.
Merry Christmas to you, Uncle George.
Uncle George, come back stronger. Richard Comey losing his world title, and that's about the wrap. Thank you to everybody who was part of our shows this year, especially JoyFirstTake, which we metamorphosed from the AFCON podcast.
Yeah.
You know, next year we have a few plans. We'll bring it bigger and better.
Also a promise.
What?
Next year I'll be less troublesome.
No. You have to be more troublesome because next year we are putting the GFA on their toes and everybody else on their.
We are meeting them boot for boot.
Yeah.
No
awoofa pie. So I'm Gary Alsmith, George Addo Jr. is somewhere in London or Manchester chilling or doing whatever it is he's doing. Benedict, thank you for your time. Bill and the rest of the team who have been coming to us for the JoyFirstTake. It's been great, it's been good, it's been fun. Selwyn for being on social media and streaming for us. If you want to watch this show again, head over to facebook.com/joy99.7 FM. It's a wrap.
What's on, Lele?